Nintendo Switch, no power. We'll switch you to microscope and we can take a look at the port. The port to me appears to be fine. It's structurally fine. I don't see any damage. So we can flip over here and run a function test on the PSU, and we're pulling 0 amps. I've already tried it on the OEM and it's not even activating the OEM through the meter anyway, so we're not getting anything out of that. So we're going to have to pull the back off this one, do some initial investigation and see what we find. It could be, judging from the symptoms, it could be the first things that come to my mind are possibly the invincible fuse or N92T36. It could be a filter around the Pi 3 USB 2. We won't really know until we get it apart and do some measuring. So let's get it apart and we'll go from there. Okay, we have it disassembled enough to do some initial testing. We have our meter connected. Switch you to microscope so you can follow along. We will start around the M92T36, as that is our most likely culprit, and do some measuring around. First thing we will measure though is the capacitor that connects to Pi 3 USB on the other side of the board. We want to follow the trace to that chip. That's the side you do not want shorted to ground. Let's make sure we're making good contact to ground though. And make sure we're actually on the right reading, which would be continuity. So trace going to the chip. Do not want it to have a pathway to ground. That's the case on all these capacitors. We do not want that trace being shorted. Okay, this side, this capacitor right here has 2 traces going to ground. One side's always, 2 traces going to the chip. One side's always going to be ground. Actually, we're reading okay on everything over here. Could this be the invincible fuse? We'll find out. Could be a port too, I don't know. Port seems odd that we wouldn't be getting any amperes through it. No, fuse is testing out. Okay, this is a weird one then. Alright, let's test our test beds. That one should have a path to ground. None of the rest in the middle should. Zoom out so maybe you can follow along a little better. Okay. I don't know why I'm surprised. This whole week has been nothing but weird jobs. Okay. Okay, we are presenting with no shorts. Strange. Now this can fail without presenting. It's just odd that it would do that. Alright. Let's try powering it on. This battery has a charge, so let's just see if it will actually turn on. Okay, we are turning on. Okay, so that kind of strikes out Pi 3 USB for me. Yeah, it's not even seeing it. Yeah, I'm thinking M92T36 at this point. Usually if Pi fails to a point where, totally fails, it's going to be stopping the system from booting. So, alright, so anyway, let's disassemble the switch entirely, change the M92T36, we'll test from there, see if anything's recognized. Okay, we have it out of the housing, and next thing we want to do before we do anything else is do some testing around the Pi 3 USB area, just to make sure we're not having an issue there. Alright, let's check this filter. This filter can cause problems, so appears to be okay. Check to make sure they're not giving continuity this way. Up and down, not side to side. And let's check our pi, and pi seems fine. So again, we're left to conclude that we have an M92T36 issue. So we will pull the M92T36 while I am getting my equipment set up. So what my expected temperatures for this job, as usual, they are subject to change if the job changes. If I have to run a jumper or put on a VGA or anything like that, usually the only thing will really change would be airflow. I don't really mess with my temperatures too much on these jobs. But the only thing I lower my temperatures for typically is for a different job, like an iPhone or an iPad. Alright, switching back to microscope. We'll pull the chip and go from there. Alright, let's perform a test. Well, real quick, I want to measure because this is actually a M92 I've used or attempted to use before, and I just want to make sure I didn't put a bad M92 on the system before I plug power to it. My package with M92s was supposed to be here 2 business days ago. And we're still getting Zippo. Wow, okay, that's weird. Do I have a port problem hiding as an M92T36 problem? Okay. Let me try one more M92. When the silicon pad blisters underneath the other pad. Fun times. Just making sure we're actually getting reading. Okay, seeing no shorts. And still flat 0. Usually don't see a port lead to 0 amperage, but at this point I don't have any other suspects. Anyway, I will set up to do a port and go from there. Alright, I have the board in a board holder and set up to do the port, so we'll do the port and cross our fingers hoping that's the problem, because if not, we got ourselves another rabbit hole today. Anyway, let's go. Okay, I'm going to do my bit of sketching this as far as testing without putting the anchor points on, because I've had too many dang jobs lately where it's just been a waste of time to put a port on. This is actually one of those ports. That's why you didn't see me pre-tin it. It was already tinned. Okay, that's pretty close to normal behavior, so to me it's worth proceeding. Alright, let's perform another test. Make sure we're getting the same behavior on both sides. We already know it's booting, so. Okay, check the other side. Check the other side. Behave yourself. Yeah, I think it's being dorky with the PSU. I'm going to use my inline meter because unfortunately the on-screen meter only really activates when it wants to. We'll check both sides with the OEM. Okay. Okay, it's seeing both sides, so. Alright, we're not going to bother with the battery test because we've already seen it boot up on a known good battery. Boot up wasn't the issue, charging was the issue, and we were trolled by the port, it seems like. Anyway, we're going to put it back in the housing enough to do a test and go from there. Okay, we have it enough back together enough to do some testing with my battery. Just want to make sure it powers up. Full battery symbol. And want to make sure it's fast charging again. And looks good. Let's try the other side. And fast charging on both sides. So, very good. Their M92T36 was probably fine. It was probably the port all along. We got trolled. Okay, as you can see, we're back up and running. And we're charging our Joy-Cons and console. Let's do a quick internet test. Make sure we're picking up all our networks. And we are. Test their game card reader. I'll grab my game real quick. Okay, have my game now. It's picking it up. Very good. That's all I need to know. Alright, let's see if I can get this meter to activate with the OEM so I can show you that it is charging at 15 volts. And see if we can get it to pick up. And there we go. As you can see on the USB meter, we're drawing 15 volts. So everything's looking good. Next thing I need to do is set up for a dock test, and we'll go from there. Okay, and as you can see in the top left, we are docking. So that is just about it for this repair. Okay, in summary, we had a Nintendo Switch drawing 0 amperage. It didn't turn out to be anything we would typically associate with the 0 amperage draw, so we kind of need to make note of that. I went ahead and tried the M92T36, which I thought would be the problem because, well, I thought it would either be the fuse or the M92T36. It turned out to be neither one. We did attempt an M92T36, but that didn't solve the issue. It turned out the port was actually trolling us, so unfortunately we had to change the port. But it all worked out in the end, so no big deal. But still, it was a bit of a troll. Anyway, if you have any questions about the equipment I used in this video, take a look in the description below. Those are all Amazon links, so if you click on them and just choose not to buy the tool, if you click on any, or if you purchase anything during that session, it'll help benefit the channel. So if you just want to click on those and help us out or help me out, I'd appreciate it. But don't feel obligated. There's also some support links in the description. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them or direct you somewhere that I can answer them. If you like the video, do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button, maybe the notification bell, and you'll know when I post videos, which is usually about twice a week. That's really all I had to ask of you. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.